Welcome to the Mile High PotCast. We're your guides through sordid tales of movies, music, and pop culture. Our show is best experienced under the influence of cannabis, so now is your cue to light up. Now remember, drugs are dangerous. Please use responsibly, but do subscribe. And now your hosts, James Thomas and David Hawk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, January 29th, and this is the Mile High Podcast, Season 3. Let me introduce the team that's here with me. We have the host of Santori What Now, the main player in the Santori Project, Mr. Mike Santori. Mike, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing really good. We also have with us the owner of Mountain Shore, the host of Quick Hits. We've got, not Quick Hits, sorry.
That's my show. That's my show, man.
The show that
Wait a
Dave
minute,
was
now
doing.
I don't know who I am.
Yeah, we got Mel here. She's sitting right next to us today. Hey, Mel.
Hey, hi.
Hey.
All right. So we gotta keep looking at the camera, which is weird because we're sitting right next to
sitting next to each other. It's been a long week.
Yeah, and then with us, the partner in everything that we do, our resident poet laureate, our author here. We've got the author of the newest book, Caldera, which you can find on Amazon. We got Dave. What's up, Dave?
What's up, guys? Man, it's been a while. I'm so happy to be here tonight. Season 3, man. Season 3. Holy
Happy
shit.
birthday, Dave.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, and a happy birthday. We definitely had to start off with the fact that it is Dave's birthday. He gets to start off season 3. His book has released. It's been an all right week for you, Dave.
Yeah, and I was on vacation, so it was perfect. It was pretty much the perfect week. So, yeah.
Nice.
But I am fucking jacked for this show, man. Especially since we're doing something a little different tonight.
We are. So, as we go on with every single season, we try some new tricks. And one of the things that we're doing right now, especially because we're basing with video quite a bit, is we want the weed not to be as huge of the focus like on camera. Not that we care that we do it when we have it on, but sometimes we have on younger guests, we have on people who do not necessarily smoke weed. So we got high ahead of time. So we went again, and before the show started, we got high, but we tried a different way of getting high. We bought dabs. Dave, show them what you bought as far as equipment for dabs.
All right. So I went to Lightshade and I talked to this dude named Alberto. He was really cool as fuck. I told him, like, I have this show. All I do is smoke flower like a hippie. Like, I really want to be a hipster. So hook me up with this fucking wax. So he's like, do you got to get really fucked up? And I said, yes, I do want to get really fucked up. So he hooked me up with this like 80% THC shit called cheese diesel. And he's like, go talk to my homeboy up at this shop called The Bomb Head Shop. And he's like, my homeboy up there will give you a rig. And so I told the guy, like, hey, I'm going to do this one time and only one time in my life. So give me the cheapest thing you can give me. And like fucking $80 later, you can't see it because of my background, but he gave me this fucking like meth rig. And I fucking got shit before the show started. I mean, like, fucking coughing, almost threw up all over my computer high.
Right.
So,
There they go.
good shit. Real good shit. I got this, like, fucking crackhead torch. So, pretty cool. It's a pretty good day.
Nice. Yeah, no, Mel, you're doing dabs too. Go ahead and tell us what you think about the dabbing.
Very high, and I hate that.
Very high.
I mean, I don't hate that, but I hate when I feel like I'm not talking loud enough, and then I feel like I'm yelling. So my volume's gonna be all over the place. That's where I'm at.
There you go.
Am I yelling? No, just kidding.
If you want to join in with our conversation, we are broadcasting on Truckee Pacific. We are broadcasting on Mile High PotCast, and we are also broadcasting on Santori Project. We're trying to have somebody watch all of those areas. Number one, Dick is right outside the window. She'll be talking from the Santori Project. Mel's got this covered. My thing on this fucking wax, here's my thought on it. Quite honestly, I, like everything else, have been overly testing it throughout the day. I was going to wait till the very end, but I've literally just been smoking on this. It's really easy to carry. I walked in and I said, I want to do wax. what do I need? And this girl walked over and she's like, I have this one or a smaller one. And like the small one was $29. This one was like $39. She said, this is the better one. I was like, fine, give me that. I like wax. And to the point that I think I've only smoked a little bit of weed today, like flower today, and I've stayed fucking pretty high all day. More than that, this little thing of wax, which looks like the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge if I turn like that, this wax, that, whatever. It's like $20, and that will probably last me. And I'm smoking a bit of it. It'll probably last me a week. So fiscally right now, like smoking wax, totally down with it. It'll probably even save me on regular weed.
Yeah, this definitely is something. This is like a special event kind of high, because like I have to break out this whole fucking glass ass rig and shit. Like I'm not gonna do that just to like sit down, smoke a joint, and start writing. I'm like, these are for special occasions. So, and tonight is a very special occasion. So, and I got high as fuck off of this shit. So I quite enjoy it. I don't enjoy almost throwing up because you cough so bad.
Yeah.
But the high is totally worth it. And so good job, Alberto from Lightshade. I appreciate that shit.
Oh yeah, and mine is my normal one. I've actually bought the rig from Live Well, and then I bought the wax from whatever's down the street because I had already bought an ounce at Live Well. Oh, that's the
spicy. Ooh, look at you breaking the law.
Native Roots, yeah.
By the airport.
Right. So I stopped at the second farthest one away from my house, or the second closest one to my house, and then I stopped at the closest one on the way back. I know you can't do that, but
you can. Nobody cares.
They should make their system better. They should. I should
it's
not.
Their own fault.
Right.
You're breaking the law because it's their own fault. Pretty much.
Right. They never cut me off when I want to drink beer. Santori, you don't get to do dabs because you are not in a legal dispensary-based state. How is it finding weed on the streets, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty high. I have the Samson special. I call it Samson because, we got people that don't have legalized weed have to go to Samson's. Remember half baked, Samson's. So I have to go find my Samson. And then Samson's got good weed. So I've been smoking for the show. There's little Santori joints, and I'm high. I'm glad I'm not choking, but I mean, I feel that high though. I know what you're talking about when you're done after you've done your whole choking thing for like an hour, it hits you and you're good for a while. So
pretty good.
Dabs are good, but the coughing, man, if you can make through the coughing, yeah, good. But I couldn't do that every day. Like I can smoke weed. I mean, it have to be you have to prepare yourself because you're gonna cough.
That's why I take the second hit, because the first hit is once I put the wax in there. The first hit does the melt, and it's the harshest thing. It is. Listen, I lived an interesting life. It is very methy and it's very cracky, and that's been my biggest issue with this 100%. Like, I guarantee you can put crack in this thing and smoke it.
I feel guilty because I have never really done hard drugs my whole life, and then I smoke out this thing. I'm like, is this what meth is like?
Yes.
It's very
answer to your question.
It's
yes.
not when it feels
No.
like it's a similar process.
Right.
Like my face is numb right now. My lips, I don't know if I'm flapping my
buy
lips
that?
or not.
Yeah, it's like that, except it's usually out of a light, like a light out of the ceiling and shit. So no, but yeah, man, dabs are cool.
Good shit.
It's
Good
cheaper. Shit. It's a real high, elevated, goofy kind of high, which is cool. All right, so we got some really big shout outs on that shit. So yay, we're talking about weed at the very beginning of our season.
What do you know? Go to our podcast.
Page. Yeah, a weed podcast. And we talked about weed. Go to our Facebook page in the next couple of days. You'll see us smoking weed before. You'll see us taking our dabs and coughing. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, you'll see the Santori Project trailer and the season 3 trailer that I worked on really hard, but my resolve had a problem with. But that's a story for another day. Now that we had our wildness before the show, I'm going to go back to Dave's part of this, which is a list that tells us exactly what we need to do when we need to do it, which is perfect. So this is 2021 predictions, kind of the new show. We ended last year with a reflection. We're going to look forward this year a little bit, and we got to talk about politics. We're going to make it generally quick. You don't have to be super negative, but we got to talk 2021. What are politics looking like to everyone else? I'm going to start with Santori because you were not in Colorado. You're in a different area, and I think you are in a different political mindset than maybe the other three of us who are very intense with like the details of how politics work and everything. And I personally know your political, you know, feelings. But what do you think? How are politics 2021 feeling for you so far? And what do you see going forward for the rest of this year?
Yeah, I really don't like politics. I don't like talking about politics or conversation everywhere because you see what happens with politics and all that. But for right now, I would have to say it's fair to say though, but being an outsider looking in, I mean, I'm all for it, whatever. I just don't, I'm American, but I just don't like the sides that are being played. There should be no sides. But anyway, I feel like big shit's been taken off their shoulders. And everyone just seems a little bit more relaxed right now than they were like last year. Everyone's a little bit more intensified, especially in the beginning of March. But I feel like now everyone seems a little bit at ease.
Right.
And I've noticed that kind of feeling. It's kind of weird, but there's energy on it. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah,
but,
it's a real breath of fresh air, man.
Right. So I do notice that, but other than that, I really could care less.
What do you feel like going forward, like the rest of 2021? What's your where you're feeling? Is that happy kind of like relaxed feeling that you're talking about going to remain, or are we going to go into the summer and are we going to kind of be allowed to go out again and have a little bit more civic unrest?
Well, I would love to see, concerts again. I would love, to go to the concert this summer. I would love to have outdoors, but it's really hard to say what's going to happen with all that. I'm going to just, quote something from Shawshank, hope is, a good thing. Hope is the best of things. So that's what I have for 2021 is a lot of hope for the positive things. So that's what I hope for for 2020 to be hopeful and better.
And, nice. With the Santori Project, you're going to see some wonders, which will represent hope and the amazingness of what America can do when we put our mind to this shit.
That was a brilliant segue, by the way.
Thank you. I've been practicing segues on while we were in the off season. I'm at a grocery store and I'm like, speaking of bananas, and people are like, wow. I see how you just went there. That's amazing.
Weed in pop culture.
Right. Now, what about you? Politics, it's 2021. What's your feeling thus far, and what do you see for the future of this year? Yeah, I know listen, there's a different spectrum. Politics are weird, and I'm going to stop her if she gets in too much of a tangent, but try to summarize it to us for your Reader's Digest version.
Suffice it to say, I'm a little further left than I think most, normal Democrats. Not that's all I'm going to say. So am I relieved? Yes. Am I super happy? No, but that's all I want to say. I've made a reservation to myself this year that in order to not be part of the problem, there's a sphere of people just yelling on the internet. So this week I made a point of I'm not doing any more political posts on social media because it's not helping. Even though I think I'm right and that's okay. Everybody thinks they're right. I just feel like a lot of people feel like that and a lot of people are mad. And so am I hopeful? I want it to work out? Yes. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how much will get done, but we'll see. It's just you got certain people that always block everything still there. So it's okay.
So your prediction going forward. I know
Same
you
as
hope
usual from pre-2016, but with Joe Biden as president. And we'll see what gets done. And hopefully it won't be done in a way that pisses off the right so much that in 4 years they elect somebody who like Trump just executive orders away everything that is done. So we'll see.
All right. I will let you respond to your text message that you just got.
You up?
Dave, you and I talked about it really quick.
See, they already hated my opinion. No,
Yeah, people, they don't even have they get her number. That's crazy. So, Dave, you and I had a whole conversation about this on Inauguration Day about what we were looking at. But summarize for me, like politics 2020. We talked a week ago, a little over a week and a half ago.
Yeah, man.
Are you feeling the same way? Or are you thinking, where are you at now with politics thus far and politics towards the end of this year?
Well, so right now we're still kind of in the waning days of the honeymoon period. So it's just been such a breath of fresh air. It's been so crazy for so long, and then just to have like really nothing happen, just normal press conferences and photo ops and shit, like normal, just normalcy. Like this is what we are come to expect from a president, and it's been boring. And when I talked about Joe Biden before, I called him vanilla ice cream. And these last 2 weeks have been vanilla ice cream. It's just as bland and boring as you can get, and it feels so fucking good. So that's my take on politics 2021. The honeymoon period's gonna fade away. It's all gonna come around the next COVID bill. Everything's gonna just go back to how kind of used to be, like all the fighting between. When it comes to the COVID bill, there's not going to be a lot of bipartisanship on that. So, but I'm hopeful.
I think the Democrats will put it through without it. I think 2021 is going to run a lot like 2020. I think there's civil unrest in this country. I think Joe Biden's good, but there's still civil unrest. It's been a lot of years where poor people and minorities and just those not in power have felt the boot on their neck of the government, be it big money, be it all this kind of stuff. So both sides politically are still in civil unrest. I think we'll still run to it, but I think Joe's doing everything he could. He's done more than I would thought he would try to do in the very beginning. Mel's kneeing me, so I know she has one other thing she wants to say.
My hope was that what happened on January 6th was enough for everybody to calm down all the extreme rhetoric everywhere, whether I agree with any degree of any of the rhetoric on either side is a moot point. My hope was that the leadership who's been promoting those big, loud, extreme thoughts would take a breath, and it didn't happen. So I'm disappointed about that. But I'm very glad that we have someone like Joe Biden in charge now, to deal with whatever that repercussion may be. But I just thought that would be enough. That's all. It's kind of like what does have to happen because we're all mad. That's all. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, so you won't go too deep into politics, but I agree. I think there's a certain percentage of this country that's really mad, and I get it because their guy didn't win. But he's so lukewarm and normal. You can only be so mad at Joe Biden. So even for them, there's a honeymoon period. The things that they're complaining about are just, it's a honeymoon period for everyone. We'll see what happens. Okay, moving forward, looking at my list, we're going to talk about what we've been up to real quick. It is Dave's birthday. And Dave has the biggest news. Yeah, happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you.
Whatever legal thing we can sing, we sing to you, my friend. What have you been up to? Because I kind of know what you've been up to, and I think it's a good time.
So I was on vacation this week, and I felt very productive. I had a book come out on Tuesday, Caldera, which is available now on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and all the ebook retailers, and it'll be out in paperback sometime next week. I gave my dad my horror story, and then I auditioned for narrators. So I signed 2 audiobooks this week, and then we have the show. So I've been off of Starbucks, and I've been working on this shit all week.
Nice. Santori, what have you been up to?
Actually, I've been up to absolutely. I've actually been doing a lot, but not really nothing to really go and write home about. But we started off our premiere podcast on Wednesday. Kids, people did not catch it, they can catch it on Santori project page, which is cool. Had a good time doing that. But also we've been planning on what we're gonna do come March and February. We already planned a trip for February, but we're not driving. It's just gonna be like, kind of like a thing for us. But we will probably take some video and share. But yeah, and then probably come March we're gonna start up a project again and head out to Arizona. So, but for now, I just been collecting money and saving it and just hanging out.
Hopefully at one part of this year, we are going to be able to merge both our, like I said earlier, poet laureate Dave and the Santori project for a cool synergy thing at in
Yellowstone.
Caldera. Yeah, so cool synergy. But what will Mel and I do while we're there? Well, let's ask Mel. Mel, what have we been up to?
We have been buying storage units and selling stuff. That's like a lot of it.
Yes. Yeah, no, we have literally go ahead.
I have a question. Do you have any bells?
Oh man.
We got
man.
those.
Man, you got bells.
We
You got bells for days.
right here. Look at it. In reach.
Oh, you can't see them, it's the same. They're English. They're late 19th century, early 20th century type. I wish you could see it.
Here.
No? Okay. there you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. That looks really, that's a pretty bell.
Yes, and they're just like women.
yes.
And if you look up there, very
Look up her
closely,
skirt.
their feet are actually little ladies' boots.
Oh, look how cute that is.
They were made in England. I believe they're brass. So, okay.
That looks brass.
We have a lot of stuff we're sorting through. We can put the background back
There you go.
up.
She's trying to hide.
But all in all, your storage hunting is going pretty good, huh?
It is. We've definitely made as much as we put into it. I'm not sure how much of a profit we're making yet, but they say it takes a few months to get that kind of stuff going. So I'm proud of how quickly we were able to recoup.
Nice job.
And that's part of the fun, is being able to afford to do it again. That's all.
Right.
So you want to go and check us out, check out Mountain Shore. We also, with the Santori Project, will have videos on Trucking Pacific. Everything we do, any of the three of us or the four of us that we're working on, all comes across the Trucking Pacific YouTube page because we're a neighborhood who works together and helps people out. And so that's super fucking cool. Dave?
Comments from the folks that are commenting on the Mile High Podcast page. Our buddy Robert is smoking some Banana Punch Indica, and he said if this is the Joe Biden honeymoon period, then he thinks he wants a divorce. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Oh boy.
That is fair. That's the world we live in. Everyone always and I get it. This is the political world. It's a little more intense than I remember it being, but
That's why I'm out.
Yeah, Santori isn't even playing this game.
That's why I'm out.
So this
What's next on the list, James?
I don't know. My
Yeah, what
phone
happened?
froze. Okay.
What are you watching?
Yeah. Dave, you wrote the list. Yeah, what are we watching?
Yeah, you should come to me last because I got a lot to say.
I know.
How are
you-
those
I always
dads
have a lot
treating
to
you guys
say.
right now?
Santori, what are you watching?
I am watching. Actually, I just started watching. My friend told me about it. I mean, it's an old show, of course. I'm watching, getting caught up on my old shows because I was never there to watch them. But my friend turned me on to Hulu and told me to turn on Freaks and Geeks to just start back
great
up.
show.
Yeah. So I've never seen it, but they got a great cast. Jason Segel, Seth Rogen. It's like that's where they all came from. So I didn't even know that. And so far, I've watched episode 1, and I'm already hooked. So I'm gonna be watching that. And then I got done watching a movie called Mud last night with Matthew McConaughey. It's pretty good. And that's about it.
Mud with Matthew McConaughey. I've never seen that movie. What?
It's actually
Where
pretty
in
good.
the world
No,
is
it's
James
pretty
Castle?
good. Just it's about this guy who's like in love with this girl, and he's on an island because he long story. He ended up killing somebody, so he's on the run. And then these kids try to help him, reunite him with his girlfriend, who's Reese Silverspoon, and it's really kind of
Reese
cool.
who?
Reese Silverspoon. Reese Silverspoon. Reese Witherspoon.
These Witherspoon.
Witherspoon. Look at hey, Samson's got some good shit, huh?
Definitely clearly does have some good shit. Yeah, Freaks and Geeks is a great old one. You said you're watching it on Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu. Freaks and
Hulu.
Geeks. Yeah,
If you'd
Hulu.
like to promote us by all means, you don't get one. They only do one at a
Right.
time.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Hulu.
Hey, she stole it from you.
What?
Crazy world. No, you had to go. Your head has to leave. Oh, I got it back.
I gave it back. No.
All right, enough of that. Dave, since you have so much, and I'm sure we watch some of the same stuff, go ahead. You roll us out. Let us know what you've been watching.
I'm gonna give you 3 movies to watch real quick, but then we'll talk about the show to talk about. So I watch a shitload of movies in our off season. One is this movie called Sound of Metal, which is about a heavy metal drummer who starts going deaf, and his whole life he is a drummer. That's all his whole life, and then all of a sudden he can't hear anything, and so now he has to figure out who he is. So that was a great movie. It's weird that a heavy metal story is up for Oscar nominations. So that's definitely one. I watched the new Denzel Washington, Jared Leto serial killer movie this morning. It's called Little Things. That was fantastic. That's on HBO Max. But the movie that surprised me the most is this great independent horror movie called Host. It is a movie like a demonic possession movie, but it's through a seance done on Zoom. The premise is this girl's having a haunting at her apartment, and so she decides, like, hey, I'm going to hire the psychic, and we're going to do a seance, but they have to do over Zoom because of the pandemic. And then shit just starts escalating, and it's a real good scary movie, and it's all done on Zoom. So real fucking creative. You can get that on Amazon. So those are my movies. The shows, man, WandaVision, that's pretty much it. Like, I'm going back and watching Flight Attendant, but it's all about WandaVision right now.
So I would say, my question about Zoom, is, does it all take place on a Zoom screen? Are they all?
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool, and such a cheap and smart, easy way.
Brilliant.
I respect shit like that when they make movies. I've always written things that were bound by the materials I had at my disposal. And so, I actually did something called Beneath Perception, where I filmed all one night. We filmed in the subway stations in New York over like a 4-hour period. That's all we did. We knew we had the time. We had the actors for one 4-hour little period. Yeah, no, so I totally respect people who do little windows. WandaVision is good. I mean, strangely enough, I think Mel likes WandaVision more than I do at this point. I think episode 3 was really an exciting movement on. Santor, you haven't seen any of WandaVision?
Can't say I have, no.
Do you have Disney Plus?
Huh? No, I don't. That's probably why I haven't seen it or heard of it.
You used to work at Disney, man.
I know, and I hate to break news to you.
You know
the only reason why I worked at Disney is because no one else was hiring at that time. What?
You're muted. I literally get fucking Disney Plus. All right, Dave, you can talk. Well, we'll unmute Mike in a second.
Have you watched episode 4 yet?
I have not. No, I just got to episode 3.
This is where, WandaVision, very good. This is where it goes from WandaVision, very good, to fucking WandaVision. It's going to be amazing. I mean, this is the episode that fucking, you start answering questions, and you bring in all these brilliant actors, like Kat Dennings, and I think his name's Jason Cho. I mean, like, you set the story. So now you understand what is going on, and it takes off to a whole other level this episode. So yeah, great show.
Good. Yeah, no, I really liked it all the way up to season 3. Mike, or episode 3. Santori, you can come back in. You can talk again.
He's on probation.
You don't want to? He's done.
Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I want to be muted.
Well, if you don't get Plus, you'll continue to be muted in the future.
Wow.
Mary Beth says that you do have. Mary Beth says that they do have Disney Plus. So according to Mary Beth, they do.
What the hell, man?
See, these are things.
You know what? You're muted again.
Wait.
No, you're done.
Strike 2, Santori.
Learn what you have when it comes to streaming services. For God's sakes. All right, he's muted. Dave, give us something else. What else are you watching?
Flight Attendant, Kaylee Cuoco show on HBO Max, really very good. So that's what I got. The Five Bloods, Spike Lee Vietnam War movie on Netflix, very very good. Very good. No, great. I watch a lot of great movies. The Hate You Give, about shooting of an unarmed black kid, and a girl who was a witness to that, and like struggling, what it's like to be African American in today's society, really. And it was very, very good. So
Nice.
that's what I got.
Yeah, no, all very good choices. Mel, what are you watching? We watched the first episode of the Flight Attendant, and I'd like to keep watching it.
Yeah, it was okay. I'm enjoying WandaVision. I don't think I'm watching anything else new right now because I'm in school full time plus an extra class
Yeah.
and doing storage treasures or whatever. And
What's the name of your show again?
That's not my show. Mountain Shore.
Mountain Shore.
That's our shop.
We got bells.
We got bells.
Bells upon bells.
Big bells.
Mountain Shore. We've got
Bells of all shapes and sizes and colors.
Come
on down to Mountain
big
Shore. We got
bronze
bells of shapes. We got silver bells. We got copper bells. You want to use the plastic bells?
Do
Bachelor
you have house
Street.
bells?
We have cowbells. We have doorbells. We
Oh,
have
yes.
we don't have doorbells.
We do actually have. Well, we have a door knocker.
With
It's a
a
brass
bell on
door
it.
knocker. It was made in India. So
Wow.
no, it's actually really
Oh,
cool.
wow.
I have to post that one now.
Look at those knockers.
Yeah, check. Look at the bells on that. All
Come
right,
check out my bells and knockers anytime.
that is our new slogan. So,
Mile High PotCast. Check out our knockers.
so outside of watching, we're gonna move into 2021 predictions. And unfortunately, nothing brings down a good knockers joke than talking about COVID. So we're gonna take a discussion and we're gonna talk about when do you think we're gonna start getting back to normal? It's a conversation that we've had way too many times on this show throughout the period. To point out to people, this time last year we had moved out of the upstairs studio into a full downstairs studio. We were having guests in here. We were getting things filmed. Santori was on his way out, and we were going to do a whole Santori project
Here.
And then,
Dead guy days.
yeah, we had plans for it and everything. We bought equipment, and then the world shut down. And we're still pretty much shut down. I know we pretend like we're not, but we are. We're very shut down in this world. So, Dave, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to go around and 2021, your predictions, COVID. Where are we, before you tell me when we open back up, December 31st, 2021. Right now, we're averaging about anywhere from over, thousands of people dying a day from this disease. How many people are dying on December 31st, 2021 from this disease that day?
That's
That's what you want us to ask.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want him to answer. I'm going to ask everyone different questions.
that's how that works.
Interview system. Dave's first. No, but the death toll numbers are huge. And
they are. But as the vaccine continues to roll out, California, they're seeing pretty decent drops. And how California goes, pretty much how goes the rest of the nation, because they're pretty much the bell tower of the nation when it comes to COVID right now. So they're starting to come down. Everywhere's starting to come down. The vaccines finally rolling out. It's amazing what can happen when you have a plan and you execute a plan. I don't know, shit actually happens. So I'm thinking very bad flu and pneumonia season. With those numbers, that would be kind of what's happening with COVID for deaths. But it's going to be way down and not. I think we're going to lose the mask mandate in January of 2022. I think stuff's coming down. They're going to start increasing by the springtime. They're going to start increasing how many people can go into restaurants. They're going to start rolling back some of these things as the vaccine continues to roll. By Christmas next year, it's going to have like the first, shows of, bars are starting to open, and, everybody has these new, mandates, like you have to wear a mask in the bar or whatever. But like everything's going to start rolling out, and people are going to start poking their heads out by January 2022.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Santori. Well, basically, rolling off of what Dave said there, bars and restaurants and people are going to open. So we're just going to call the world Florida because we all know Florida never stopped their normal shit. So the question on that is, for the rest of the world that's not Florida, how close are we, do you feel, to being ready? How close, as far as like with opening restaurants to 100%, getting music back, now that the vaccine's out and everything, how comfortable are you having them do that? How close are you to saying, yeah, for not just me, because you travel everywhere, but for everyone I care about, I am okay now that the world's back open and I trust it. How close are you to that in your
My friend said that they already scheduled a concert for the re-concert of Motley Crue and Def Leppard and Joan Jett for July something here.
People who cannot afford to get COVID.
And I said, wait, no, he said that
they're high risk.
I'm trying to answer your question. so he said that there's a date in July, and I was just looked at him. I said, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, as much as I would love to hear that that's true, I don't see it ready by July. I mean, I don't think it. I think it's gonna be just like a repeat of last year, because of just real. I mean, I know that they open up the bars back here, and for Minnesota they shut down for a hot minute, and then they reopen, and I know cold weather sucks, and I know it's always the flu season. People get sick, especially between, December and March, because it's, stupid weather. So I'm like, I see it that they're going to shut down the bars, in my opinion, probably after Valentine's Day. But that's just my opinion, but I don't think it. But for the whole world to be ready, or our country to be ready, I don't, like he said, 2022, January, I'm going to say probably like maybe March of 2022. Then everything be back to being where it needs to be. In my opinion, I could be totally wrong, but
No, that's a very fair opinion, and I think that's and to Mel, because you're going to school right now. I'm going to ask you something. Do you think that there is a mental component that goes along with it? Because the likelihood, if the vaccine goes out as it is, and the mask mandate of 100 days that Joe's talking about, saving hundreds of thousands of lives by doing that. If the numbers start dwarfingly going down by summer, like they were last summer, and even lower, I'm talking about away from the hundreds down to the tens or the 50s a day, real low, normal flu transmission numbers. Is there a psychological component, do you believe, to this, where even when it gets to that level, it's going to take something else to get people's feet out the door?
Okay, so legal disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist. I'm in school for it. I'm about 3 months away from finishing my bachelor's degree. So it's not like real psychology type advice. I think that people need to believe that it will get better. Otherwise, people will give up and go out too soon.
Right.
I think we see some of that now. I think we see people who have, like, people call it COVID fatigue, lockdown fatigue, and I think that's all real. And so I think as long as we all understand that it will get better and follow the rules, it can, so.
But do you think it's going to take when it starts to get better, do you think there is going to take, we've been in so long now, do you think people are rushing out, or do you think there's going to be a mental block of a good portion of this country who has just been like, well, I'm not quite sure I'm ready to go stand at the Magic Kingdom or ride a bus with a shit ton of people, or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's going to be like a massive influx of like agoraphobics or something like that. There's not going to be that kind of, effect that I would imagine. But, who doesn't see that already in your own like everyday life? Like, you think about how weird it is when you have to go further than your grocery store ever lately, it is kind of odd, right? So in that way, yeah, you're just naturally, you're gonna forget you can go places at first, and there may be people who realize they enjoy being home and they may be more hesitant, but people are they're social creatures by nature, so most of everybody will be back out as fairly quickly once they're sure.
David is not a social creature.
I said most. Oh, I didn't say most. I said most people will be back out. I did not exclaim. But most people are social creatures by nature, and so we all know that one antisocial person, but they know us too, so they're not
completely antisocial. Yeah, no, I think COVID. I think there is definitely a future to look at in it. I think weirdly, what COVID has become is part of our life, and not in the way that it's killing people all the time. It's something that we have to constantly think about, and even those people who rejected or didn't believe it in the beginning have to deal with it now. You know what I mean? It's just an aspect of life. So that goes to our other question. What does normal look like going forward? And then we're going to twist that a little step away from COVID. Some of the things that we learned during COVID, movie theaters, everything Warner's doing is being released on HBO Max for a month, and then it gets released another way. Yeah, and theaters, and then it goes off and comes back. Like Wonder Woman, if you haven't watched it yet, you lost your ability and you had to wait like 2 months till it comes back. Disney Plus is putting everything online. So normal comes back. What does normal look like? Mel, are people going to fill restaurants? Are they going to go to the movie theaters anymore? Are we going to go to malls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think the movie industry is going to bounce back to what it was?
Yeah, I do. People miss that. I miss that butter. I will go for butter once I'm sure it's safe and vaccines have been well distributed and everything. Yeah. Don't you want that popcorn butter?
To a degree.
There's no way they can deliver it to you fresh and hot here, so it has to happen there.
It's just vegetable oil, really, really knocked up.
If you know how to make it, then I'm really mad that we've gone a year without it.
Oh yeah, no, I know how to make that butter. Dave, you've gone to theaters during this.
Yeah.
What do you think? The industry, is it going to stay there?
It's gonna struggle for a long time, but it's gonna take a massive movie, a Marvel movie, a Star Wars movie, to start getting people. I think I would say Marvel is pretty much the only kind of movie that'll come out that'll start drawing people out of their houses. I think masks are just going to be a natural part of life because they work. Our flu season is the lowest in many, many, many years. People aren't getting sick, and so people are realizing, like, oh, washing my hands actually, stops me from getting sick. Who would have thought? So I think we're going to go to movie theaters. I think it's going to take something big.
Yeah. Well, but does Disney? And here's just a weird question.
Anything Disney does is going to bring people out.
But do they care?
Yeah. For sure.
What does Disney care about keeping movie theaters alive? They don't own movie theaters. They're not making as much money. They have to share that money with the people who own the movie theaters. Maybe if you see Disney buying up AMC all of a sudden, they'll really care about getting people back in the theaters. As of right now, I think it's 6 1/2 dozen the other don't.
Well, there's gonna be a point where they reach their maximum subscribership. Like their subscribership is already lowering as it is. Like so many people have it. So what's the money that they're generating? If they have movies in the theaters, then you will get a greater source of income. Especially when you can't open up your park, you have to have something else that balances out what you're missing with the parks, and going to an actual movie that will do it a lot faster than trying to depend on subscriberships.
I know foreign box office is really where Hollywood makes any of its movie at this moment. So I'm up and down on that. Santori, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna ask you because of like a place that was really important to you and your number one dick, Mary Beth, is going to be gone. The Hard Rock Cafe at Mall of America, which brings me to first. We're sorry because we know it was like a great place, and we know how it is to be part of a family that you like work with, and we know that those people are your family and everything. But here's my question for you: you worked in a in the food industry in a themed restaurant. I mean, and then themed restaurants were all about overcrowding, bringing people in based on this attached to a mall, which in general was already dying. But you were the Mall of America, so it had its strength and everything. What do you think, man? What do you think? Is that Mall of America? Is Mall of America just fucking property right now? Is it just land that is gonna come back? It's your city, man. Like, yeah, but will it survive without it? Is it something that it even wants anymore?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when I went to the mall, when I went to it, it was like kind of like dead. And then it was like, on a regular day, like this time last year, it would have been a little bit busier. But I don't know. It's hard to say. And it's just, I don't know, with the whole restaurant industry, if you're not moms and pops, it's basically just a corporate world. So it's just basically, it's up to them whether they want to deal with all that anyway, with the malls, with the restaurants. I mean, like you said, the themed restaurants like that, whatever. I mean, that's upper corporate, and they might just do away with restaurants and just keep whatever else that they have, enterprise, like hotels and stuff that might succeed, casinos and all that. That will go up, but probably the restaurants probably like not be there as much as because of all this and the capacity and what they're allowed to serve and how big the restaurants are. I mean, you got a small one, they're not gonna they're gonna flip it, they're gonna get rid of it, and that's unfortunate and that sucks. And I just think that with the whole mall thing, it just people are going shopping and enjoying this, sit back, order something, and the next day there it is at your front door. People are getting, adapt to that because especially like in bad weather like this, like who really wants to go drive in the snow to go, when you can just easily make a phone call, play a credit card, and have a nice day. So it's just, I would like to say that I would like to see restaurants be the same in the mall, but it's not. It's totally going to be different. It's going to change, and like I said, it's going to be a corporate America decision, and we have no control over it. So, but it is just gonna.
We have control of our pocketbooks, but our pocketbooks are going to lead to the level of convenience and everything. I mean, it's definitely an interesting thing. It's hard to watch, like the Mall of America, to watch it turn into a dead mall, because we've all been to dead malls. We grew up in we know the 80s. We knew when they were there, and we watched those malls die over time. And we walked through those dead malls and everything. Mel, you're a Cali girl, and you hung out at the mall.
Yeah, a lot.
So, what about commercialism like that? Are we headed back to filling up those kind of places, or is everything going to be Amazon? Is that what 2021 is pushing us forward to?
I think patterns will change, and yes, I think online shopping is staying. I really don't see why people would want to go. They're just not gonna. Who has time anyways? Like, seriously, I think that's what people figured out with driving to work if you don't have to. It's like that's a lot of time in the day that you save by not going. So I think patterns will change, but there will be a level of normalcy. I think people will go to theaters, chairs pattern. They'll spread seating out maybe, like the ones with the food restaurants in them. Those chairs are spread out more, so they might all look a bit more like that. That's my guess.
Dave, quick service. You work in the quick service world. What do you think? Is it the same at the end of COVID, or like, because Starbucks has come buildings everywhere, and I knew that you said in the beginning of it, some new expansions just got stopped and everything. Are we going to see a slowing down? Do you think?
Dude, not only has it come back, but fucking quick service is exploding. That's one of the few industries that, like the mom and pop, the restaurants and the chain restaurants, the Hard Rocks, they're suffering at the expense of the quick service restaurant right now. The quick service is set up, their model is set up to be able to adapt to different things. And so when you had to introduce delivery to it, they just did it. It's hard to, like, for Hard Rock, Hard Rock's not going to do delivery. You go to Hard Rock because it's a Hard Rock, not because their food's good. The food's okay, but you go to see Prince's jacket. So I think quick service is killing it. Fucking Starbucks is having like record years. I can't give out specifics because I've signed agreement saying I won't say any of that, but the stocks are public. They're fucking killing it right now. I mean, we're seeing like massive
stopping it now, but they're doing all right.
They're doing all right.
GameStop at the moment.
Fucking yeah, man. If I was the CEO of GameStop, man, I would be fucking thrilled. I went from like having to go find a job at Walmart to like multimillionaire again. It's kind of
Yeah.
like it's kind of like the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah. Trading Play.
Trading Places, yeah.
It's the closest reference to what they. I think that's how I explained it to people. Like Trading Places, generally, you just included the internet, which is great. Trading Places was an awesome movie. It's you want to understand what just happened here. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street about penny stocks, and watch Trading Places. Kind of mush them together.
Watch The Big Short. If you to know everything that's going on now, you gotta watch The Big Short. It is an unbelievable movie. Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. I mean, fucking, it is just an unbelievable movie, all about the 2008 stock market crash. Directed by the guy who did the Hangover series. I mean, so he adds an element of humor to it. So unbelievable movie, The Big Short. Go see that.
All right. Well, Mel
I gotta
is
head out.
is headed out right
Sorry.
now.
Good night, everyone.
We will
Good night,
see
Mel.
you.
All right,
So
Dave,
does this
happy
count as us
birthday.
losing a guest? Because we have a pretty good record of having guests leave. So does this count?
Yes.
It's the host. Host can leave and
Okay.
enter whenever they want. He is still the only person who's ever left and never returned on this show.
And that makes sense.
And not even like in the same episode. He just left at one point. Dave and I sat there. We said, "Well, that's it." I was like, "He's not coming back."
He's not coming
I know my friend. He is absolutely not returning to the show.
But he redeemed himself a couple weeks later. So good job, Edo.
Yeah. So what about goals for this year? You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and let's do what you're looking the most forward to this year and what your goals are. Let's start with Dave, since you wrote the question.
All right. I want to see a concert. I miss live music and comedy shows.
Nice. Those are your goals.
Well, no, those are what I'm looking forward to this year.
Okay,
My goal,
I was like,
my
those
goal-
are little, but start small on goals, Dave. Going to
no, my goals. I have pretty lofty goals, man. I think this show is fucking. It's on the verge of taking off. Santori is on the verge of taking off. So, and my books are on the verge of taking off. I have all these things that are like right, feel like they're about to take off, and then like. So I think this year will be pretty good for everybody involved. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, man. I'm looking just forward to creating, making people laugh, using my imagination every day. It's a good life.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, I like your goals and I like what you're looking forward to. Those are both positive things. Santori, what about you? What are you looking forward to in 2021?
Well, in general, just for myself.
Just for yourself.
Yeah.
Let's
For
go
myself.
selfish. What are you looking forward to selfishly in 2021?
Hopefully to a good year, and hopefully be able to do what we were doing last year with the project, and hopefully can do another thing with it, because I would like to promote myself in America as well. So hope that works out, and just basically that everyone just is really good to each other. That's it.
And what's your goal? What's your personal goal? What do you want when you look back at 2021? What do you want to go? I wanted to get that accomplished.
That's a good question. To be a better person.
That's a great goal every year. It's a great.
That's it. Just be a better person. Just
Yeah.
be better than I was yesterday. I
And
like
that is, if we all strive to do that, 2021 is looking out
Yeah.
to being a really good year. So what am I most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the expansion of Truckee Pacific. Like I said earlier in the show, Santori over here does the Santori project and Santori now. What now?
What now?
What
now?
Or now what? It's interchangeable just because in my own mind it's interchangeable, and when I say it, I'm always thinking I'm saying it wrong, but I'm not. apparently,
Just as long as you got 2 words together, you're all
Yeah.
set.
I helped you name that show, and I can't for the life of me remember
What?
what way we put those 2 words every time. Every time I write that shit.
Just as long as they're together, we're good. It works.
But yeah, no, that's something that we're doing. A lot of those are going to be moved on to YouTube. I'm going to try to do little clips that are like bites that you can share 2 to 3 minutes of it. Santori had some music, like new music on yesterday. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Santori brings interesting people that are not in Dave and I's general world on the show, because really he's had an entirely different life with entirely different people than we have, outside of a little bit of time that Santori and I lived in the same place, and we know the same people from there. And strangely, none of them come on our show because it's Florida and you never know what you're gonna get. Crystal showed up once.
Yeah.
And even then, Dee was like, "Oh, I don't know about this." They knew each other.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, we were doing our own thing. I love that Dave's book is just came out. I know he's constantly fucking working on shit. I told Dave to take a break from the Mile High podcast for the end of December and into January, and Dave did it for 1 week, and then he was like, "No, we gotta do a show. Well, I'm gonna do a show once a week called Quick Hits." And it's going to be a shorter version, which ran exactly the exact same time.
Dude, we got fucking 500 viewers on our last one. So, I mean, like, people are fucking, they're still watching. I thought it was a good idea. We didn't want people to, like, disappear. Like, where the fuck these guys go for like 2 months? I wanted to give them a little something so they remember us.
And then Dave did, and he got new people to host some shows. We're going to get a couple new shows in here, or at least one new show that. You want to tell us about that one, Dave?
Which one?
Your cousin.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, my cousin Christy, who is one of my guest hosts on the Quick Hits. Your hand looks very trippy right now.
I'm trying to get a video of the cat licking.
Sorry, but God, it's so distracting. No, yeah,
sorry.
Christy, my cousin Christy. She was a real fun host, and she really enjoyed it, and I thought she did a great job. So she has her own podcast, and what's cool is, like, I have zero input in it. It's her show. She's doing it with one of her sister-in-law, and they're just gonna talk, current event stuff, and they're gonna put it up on our show, and we have nothing to do with it. And that's like the most fun thing about being a producer is, like, hey, like, do your stuff. Like, I don't want to be involved in it. Just put it together, and then we'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, no, that's the great thing. That's what I love about Santori. What now, or now what, whichever it's called.
What now? What?
It's the same thing. It's you. I said, Santori, it's your show. You know what I mean? Like, your people. I don't need to host it. It's all you. And he brought on just fucking great people. And his producer, your producer, Mary Beth, is fucking awesome. She keeps you on top of shit. I knew she would when we started the Santori project. I was like, no, listen to her. She's always right. She's your producer. Always listen to Mary Beth. So, yeah, Truckee Pacific. I'm most looking forward to watching Truckee Pacific grow. My goal is to have my wife be able to quit her job. So while we independently do reselling, that's my goal for this year. I think it's a very attainable goal. So we'll see. But as far as a goal, that's my goal for the year. But guys, this is it. This was the first episode of the 3rd season on Dave's birthday. The same week his book came out. Caldera, go to Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. Download that shit. If you write us, I bet Dave will let you send him the book and he'll sign it for you. I'm just making shit up for him.
Yes.
But if you're watching our show and you can prove that you did that, he'd be happy to. He'd be like, yes, you're a fan. Buy the book, get a hold of us. We'll send it to Dave. He'll sign that shit.
Send it to me and I'll send it back. So Caldera put it's 2 years of work I put into it and a lot of research, and it came fucking great book. It's getting excellent reviews. So go check that shit out.
Mike and Mary Beth will have to read it before they go to Yellowstone.
Have an idea of what's going on.
Have an idea of what to look out for. That'll be really exciting. I would like to thank Santori for being here. I'd like to thank Melody. I almost called her Nancy. I almost did a whole throwback to old school Nancy being on the show. Dave, it's always good to have you. Tell me what we're looking forward to on this season of the Mile High Podcast before we leave.
Man, we have
what do we got going on?
Yeah, we got a lot going on. We've grown so much in the last couple of years, and Zoom has really given us the ability to welcome in different guests into the neighborhood. So we got my cousin Amanda Hawkins, who is a professional singer, and she's unbelievable. She has a great following. She's coming on. Chef David's coming back. We're talking gay representation in pop culture. We have another Ask the Expert. We have a couple of those coming up. We're doing an Ask the Expert science show because I know a lot of science, and so I'll answer your science questions. We have a weed grower in Denver. He's coming on. I'm trying to work with the Westward, trying to get their weed writer on. So we have a lot of shit coming up. We have a bunch of games coming up. I mean, it's going to be packed. It's going to be full. We have some more quick hits coming up. So, yeah, just keep checking out. Go to www.truckiepacific.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, mostly Facebook because I'm too lazy to go to the other two places. So, but we got a lot of shit coming out, man.
Yeah, I think season 3 is going to be really good. You're going to see a little bit of adjustment on some of these shows. I'll be here for some. I won't be here for others. It's going to be some music people, and you'll see a lot of Santori and Mel on those shows as well. Santori has weird shit going on his show all the time. Sometimes he's eating things. Sometimes he's playing music. At a certain point, he's just going to be sitting in cars because we've all watched part of that season of him sitting in cars. But T-Man and fucking Dr. Detroit are always good to be around there. Come over to my Mountain Shore page. See the shit that I find. Buy it. It helps. But speaking of help, how can you help Truckee Pacific? How can you help Mile High Podcast? How can we get your money?
I'll tell you how.
You know how, Dave? Go ahead. How?
You can do what my Aunt Bonnie, my cousin Christy, and my parents have done. They have gone to Venmo at Truckee Pacific 303. Give us your STEMI money. No donation's too small. No donation is too big. Go to Venmo at Truckee Pacific 303. Make your money our money.
That's right.
Thank you.
So we need to thank our patrons who allow us to do this. We need everyone who enjoys this. Like, subscribe, and go to Patreon and just give us $1 because Dave only has so much family that can continually support.
We're running
He's running literally out of family members. So give that out support. If you want to see Santori, you can look at the regular Santori page, Santori on Facebook, or the Santori Project on Facebook. If you want to follow Dave and I, you can look up Dave Hawk, author on Facebook. He is under the Mile High Podcast. He is under Truckee Pacific on Facebook. You can reach us at all of those places. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at most of those places. I just listed off for you for them, except Dave's author page. You can also reach me at Mountain Shores. If you want to get a hold of us, we are at the Mile High Podcast at gmail.com. Next week is our first Mile High Podcast YouTube live event, which means you have to go to YouTube Live next week to watch James's game. YouTube Live. We're going to play James's game. We'll warn you on Facebook, but get prepared. Like and subscribe us on YouTube. Next week, Santori has a brand new show, or see episode 2. Interesting shit's going to happen. And I think I said all I needed.
We made it.
We made it to the end.
The whole outline.
Yes. Everything on this phone that you can't see. It doesn't matter. I'm holding things up. You can't see shit. Guys, this is the first episode of the 3rd season. We will have a trailer for the Santori Project soon. I'd like to thank you guys so much for being here. And That's it.
Yeah,
We're out.
Dabs, very, very fucking good. Very fucking good.
Absol. This is my new
Absol.
thing.
All
All
right.
right.
Be good to each other.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Be good to each other.
This has been a Truckee Pacific production. For sponsorship inquiries and comments, go to the Mile High PotCast at gmail.com.